So welcome to the information session for the Bachelor of Science at the University of Tasmania. So we're going to go through some slides and have a chat about the course. First of all, we will do an acknowledgement of country. So we acknowledge the Palawa Pakana of Lutruwita, the traditional owners of the land upon which we work and live. We pay respects to elders past and present as the knowledge holders and sharers within our community. We honour their strong culture and knowledge as vital to the self-determination, well-being and resilience of their communities. We stand for a future that profoundly respects and acknowledges Aboriginal perspectives, language, history and culture. Today, we are going to cover why you should study at the University of Tasmania, why you should study science at the University of Tasmania, the course options that you have, along with the majors that are available within the Bachelor of Science, the career outcomes, the fees and scholarships that are associated with the degree and scholarships you can apply for, how to apply, very important. And then at the end of the webinar, we will have a question and answer session. So I'll explain a little bit more about that. Excuse me. You can ask questions throughout the presentation. We would encourage you to do so, just so we can answer them as we go. You can use the Q&A button along the bottom of your screen for this. Don't use the chat option, use the Q&A. So why study at the University of Tasmania? We have some very happy students. Our student satisfaction is higher than the national average. So the satisfaction that students have with their teachers and academics and the quality of engagement compared to nationally is quite high. We have strong graduate outcomes, so 82% full-time employment for undergraduate students and 96% for postgrad. We offer a range of supports to you throughout your degree. Oh, why is that done that? I'm so sorry. I think I'm having some internet issues, but and for some reason it's jumping along. I do apologise. Student support, where was I? Yes, so we offer quite a bit of student support across a wide range of areas. So not just academic support, but career guidance and also someone to talk to and help you plan your degree. So we have student counsellors, student advisors, we have accessibility officers that can help students who may have a disability. We are also #1 in the world for climate action, something we're super proud of. So for the 3rd year running, we are #1 with not just in the country, but in the world, so globally. We've been certified carbon neutral since 2016. And as a student, you can get involved in sustainability at the University of Tasmania through a number of different programs. So I'm going to stop talking now and hand over to Greg, who is going to talk about, and once again, I am sorry that my screen keeps doing weird things, but Greg is the course coordinator, excuse me, for the Bachelor of Science. So he is the holder of all things Bachelor of Science, and I'm going to hand over to you now, Greg. You have control.
Thanks, Justine. What I'd like to do now is, I'm not clicking through, Justine.
Yes, you should have control, Greg.
Oh, there we go. Good. Okay, so let's talk about the Bachelor of Science. So why study science with the University of Tasmania? And the answer is so simple. Tasmania is just a sensational place to study science, and that's because we are a sensational landscape where it has all the natural advantages. And so I'm a plant scientist, we've got a zoologist here, we've got an earth scientist, we've got a physicist. Tasmania is actually an ideally placed to study all of those things because it's compact. You have a huge range of natural systems in a really small area, and that includes plants communities, animal communities, includes amazing geology, and also we're beautifully placed for physics, especially astronomy, because we're in a place that's nowhere else in the world. You have access to sky that there's nowhere else. And that means it's also attracted fantastic researchers, which means that we have excellent staff, we have excellent facilities, both in the lab and in the field, with the result that we are highly focused on face-to-face, hands-on activities where you learn by doing in the real world with exciting systems. Okay. Sorry, I'm having a bit of another flick through thing. To do a Bachelor of Science, traditional 3-year degree, but of course you can do it part-time and extend it out to as much as 7 years. Most of the Bachelor of Science is based in Hobart, but we can also have components of the Bachelor of Science that can be done in, sorry, this is, yes. Okay, sorry, we're just having a bit of a technical thing, online as well. Not all components of the Bachelor of Science are available everywhere. To get into the Bachelor of Science, if you're coming from the Tasmanian system, the most common one is through the school's recommendation program, but you also can get in via having an ATAR of 65 or better, and that applies, of course, Australia-wide. But there are other pathways. So people with life experience can go through a university preparation program, or they can have previous study at a diploma level, or they can have a relevant certificate. A few of the components of the Bachelor of Science, a few of the majors have additional prerequisites. So chemistry and requires chemistry and some mathematics, and stats require some maths background and physics as well. And physics requires a little bit of physics. But of course, we have pathways that allow you to achieve those prerequisites as part of your degree or as preparation before your degree. Now, one of the most important things you need to know about the Bachelor of Science is the basic structure. And the basic structure, we've got a few twists and turns, but essentially it's very simple. The key concept is that you need a major. And a major is just a specialisation that you do. And with a major, you'll have 1/3 of your degree is allocated to the major. So your degree is made up of 24 units. And so 8 of those units are in the major, and there 2 of which are in introductory units, which are effectively first-year units. 2 are intermediate units, which are effectively second-year units, and then 4 are in the 3rd year or advanced level. Then the rest of the degree has 2 components. One is the discipline elective component, which are other units in the Bachelor of Science, and you can use that to pick and choose units that are most suitable for your needs, but you can also use them to do a second major, and quite a lot of students do a double major. And the final 8 units are general electives, and those are almost any units in the university. They can, of course, be part of the Bachelor of Science, but they can actually be in other parts of the units. So overall, what that does is it gives you an intense knowledge of one specific area, and then you can actually tailor the rest of your degree to your own needs and interests. So back to the majors, we have 14 different majors in the Bachelor of Science, and they're listed here. And of course, you can find out about that by searching online for the Bachelor of Science in University of Tasmania. But this afternoon or this evening, we will actually focus on just 5 of these majors. So what we'll do is that we will start off, I will hand over to the next person up, who is Rebecca Carey, who'll be talking about earth sciences.
Hi, just let me get organised here, my screen. Yeah, thanks very much, Greg. And I also just wanted to reiterate that point about Tasmania being a natural playground. Here in Tasmania, we have a geological playground. We have rocks in Tasmania that are a quarter of the age of the Earth, and those rocks essentially include all of the different rock types and also include absolutely phenomenal fossil history, including trilobites and various shells and plants and things that we use in our classrooms in order to talk about Earth evolution. Alrighty, so here at Earth Sciences, the Earth science is key to tackling global challenges like climate change and resource management. Geoscientists will be crucial in meeting the future challenges of society, and some of the graduates of geoscience will be critical in ensuring things like sourcing and extracting critical metals that are needed for green technologies like solar and wind power, and those are important in terms of the energy transition and Australia's goals towards net zero 2050. Geoscientists are involved in understanding the subsurface of the Earth to harness things like geothermal energy, which is also important for the energy transition. Other geoscientists are involved in ensuring access to clean water supplies and things like mitigating climate change and influencing government policy through understanding Earth's past climates. So there's a whole range of geoscientist careers. We have a employment rate, so our third-year graduates are all employed, so 100% employment, and that just demonstrates the thirst and the need for geoscientists to be involved in geotechnical engineering. So thinking about the infrastructure projects that are going on in Tasmania at the moment, our graduates are out there building the new Bridgewater Bridge. They'll be involved in building the new AFL stadium at Macquarie Point. So 100% employment, we've had that for years. And at times we've also had all of our second and third year students employed in vacation work out in industry, either in the geotechnical engineering industry or out in mining or in government. Okay, what else? Is there another slide for me in the pack?
Sorry, Rebecca. No, there wasn't another slide. We're moving on to chemistry, unless, of course, you have more that you would like to add.
The only thing I would add is that of all the earth science degrees in Australia, we have more time in the field than any other university, and that includes multi-day, multi-week field trips out to places in Tasmania and Australia, and we're also going to be launching some field trips in New Zealand in 2026, fingers crossed. So we really try and maintain that face-to-face teaching within the environment so that you learn through doing exactly what Greg talked about earlier.
Fantastic. Thanks,
Thank
Rebecca.
you.
And we'll move across to Nathan to have a chat about chemistry.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming along to the session. So chemistry is really about understanding our world through thinking about atoms, molecules, and how they work together. And the things that you'll learn in a chemistry major at the University of Tasmania is focused around the fundamental structures of these molecules, also how we figure those structures out, how they interact with other molecules, which we might see in, say, pharmaceuticals or other compounds from nature. And then we also have quite a strong emphasis on analytical chemistry. In other words, identifying and quantifying the different molecules that are out there. So this is important for things like sports doping or other types of testing that might be out there. So in terms of career outcomes, there's really lots. And as Rebecca said, there's really good statistics on employment for these areas. The outcomes that are listed there are things like laboratory chemists, so people working in chemistry. But chemistry actually links into a lot of different areas. And so we've got here research scientists, industrial process managers. The skills of chemistry, whether it's the lab skills or some of the project management skills, can draw on chemistry. So there's more listed there. I won't go through those anymore. But if you're interested in the molecular structure of our world and understanding the world through that lens, chemistry is the major for you. Thanks. And on to Andrew.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm the head of physics here at UTAS. And really, physics is about understanding the forces, the energies, and the processes in the physical world, from natural environments to technological systems. And our graduates have gone sort of everywhere from Antarctica to the Arctic, and everywhere from Wall Street to Silicon Valley, and metaphorically from the deep earth with geophysics out to the limits of the universe with astrophysics. Really, we're about developing the techniques to understand the world simply through quantitative modeling. We have very strong links to mathematics and computing. So the range of career opportunities is absolutely enormous. And here at UTAS, we're kind of unique in that we run our own continent-wide network of radio telescopes. And we also have good access to optical telescopes locally. So there's quite an emphasis on astrophysics. But a career here, a degree in physics from here can prepare people for anything from private sector to medical physics, climate science, teaching, kind of anything where those quantitative modeling skills would be useful. And that includes biophysics. And with that, I'll turn it over to Greg, who will talk about plant science.
Welcome. Thanks to see you again. What I'd like to think about with plant science is that plants do some important things in the world. They feed every one of us. They feed every animal out there. They are the basis of all of the ecosystems we have. And they give us all the air that we breathe, the oxygen that we breathe. So plants are incredibly important. And what we have here in Tasmania is that we have a really strong research capacity in plant science, and that feeds really directly into our teaching. So if you come to do a plant science degree, you're being taught by world experts, really leaders in the field. And that all can be in terms of the idea of food, and so in terms of understanding plants so that we can grow better food to feed the world. But it's also about understanding plants as in their roles of natural ecosystems and how they contribute to the ecology of our world. And finally, also the role of plants in climate change, because plants suck up carbon dioxide and put out oxygen. So that's why you come and do plant science, because it's there. And of course, plants are amazingly beautiful and interesting as well. I think we can pass on next.
Okay, hello. My name is Mena, and I'm a zoologist. I did a zoology and ecology degree, and I work on some of our very unique mammal fauna, such as Tasmanian devils and quolls and bandicoots and platypus and all these wonderful animals. And in the same way that plants are fundamental to life on Earth, so are animals. And it's the biodiversity, the animals that we have in the world, and how they work with plants to create the functional ecosystems upon which human life is dependent. And Tasmania is just a wonderful place to come and study zoology. We have very intact fauna. We have a lot of endemic species, a lot of really, really exciting animals like devils and quolls and yellow-tailed black cockatoos and swift parrots. There's some wonderful animals and invertebrates down here. Tasmania also has all the major types of land uses. We have 50% of Tasmania is protected areas, World Heritage Areas and national parks. And we also have a large forestry and agricultural industries, and understanding, keeping biodiversity in those landscapes keeps those landscapes functional and helps to create better, healthier food and fibre and timber upon which we depend as a society. Our zoology degree, we have you out in the field from first year. In second year, we have you out on the beautiful Tasman Peninsula, measuring biodiversity, trying to trap water rats and possums. Graduates in zoology, there's a very, very wide range of jobs that are available to zoology graduates in state government, in conservation NGOs, in teaching, in media, in many, many, many different places you can take a zoology major. And a zoology major teaches you fundamental skills about measuring and understanding the world. And our graduates do end up all over the world. So, you know, the sky is the limit. Antarctica and South America, the Middle East. There's many, many different places that a zoology degree can take you.
Please.
I'll pass on back to Justina.
Over to Nathan now to have a talk about the amazing career opportunities that you have once you complete a Bachelor of Science.
Okay, so one of the things that often gets asked about science degrees is what sort of job will I get at the end of it? And part of the reason I think is because unlike some of the other degrees that universities offer, it's not as deliberate or not as specific in the name. So if you do a Bachelor of Nursing, then you know that you're going to be a nurse at the end. If you do a Bachelor of Engineering, you're going to be an engineer at the end of it. The Bachelor of Science obviously is a broader discussion, and we've seen that in the unit structure. I guess the point of what I want to make here is to say that the flexibility of the Bachelor of Science is really useful when you're perhaps not exactly sure what you want to do, or if actually you know the type of science that you do want to do. So you can have that flexibility in your first year to find the major that suits you for the degree that you will get. So that's just the general statement, I suppose, to be like, don't worry too much about the job. Find areas that you enjoy, and there are plenty of employment opportunities that can apply those things that you will learn. In terms of the types of areas that people end up working, we've got 4 areas listed here: research, industry, teaching, and government. They're in no particular order. I guess we can touch on a few of them. We'll go left to right, just in terms of reading. But in terms of research, there are opportunities to complete your degree in your Bachelor of Science, go on to do further study for what's called an honours degree. That's an extra year of research where you have a project, or perhaps onto a PhD, a doctorate. And that allows you to operate in an area where you'll be asking new questions, forming new hypotheses, and testing them out. Second tab here is industry. So a lot of people work in industry, and that's certainly true for my area of chemistry. The statistic that was brought up here was very interesting to me. 47% of Fortune 100 CEOs hold a Bachelor of Science. So although we mightn't think of people leading companies as being scientists, there are skills that they've gained from those types of degrees that are going to be useful for them in those areas. Again, this is a chemistry statistic, but of the 114 industry sectors in Australia, 108 of them use chemistry. So that includes things like banking. We might not think of banking as using science, but of course there's science behind the currency we use, the notes, the coins, that's inherent to that particular area. So 108 of 114 use chemistry. That's just chemistry. Think of all the other science areas we have. Teaching's a big one. So teaching, there's a national shortage in teachers, and there are ways that your science degree and the major that you've completed and all the other units you've used to complete that structure can be coupled to additional training in, say, a Masters of Teaching, which will allow you to go and be a teacher in schools. We need great teachers who are really passionate about science because we live in a very scientifically enabled world, and we need people who can communicate that science to the next generation. Fourth one here is government, and this includes contributing to things like public policy. So science shapes a lot of the way that our world operates, and scientists have a really big role to play in influencing that. So I had a discussion today with someone who works in information or sort of protecting intellectual property for the university. And I was talking about a former Bachelor of Science graduate from the university who now works in Canberra and is involved in shaping policy that's written. They're not working in their field of science, but they are working to influence the way that our government operates using those skills, using those techniques that they've learned from science. If we go to the next slide, please, Justine. So here are just 3 students who were previously completed Bachelors of Science. I won't read everything out, but just to say that their studies, whether it be in maths, zoology, or geology, have led them to different areas. Georgina there, well, maybe I'll go into some detail. Georgina now works for the government, Department of Climate Change, Energy and the Environment. Matthew in the middle there is at the University of Tasmania after completing his PhD. And Micheline is a geologist who works on a mine site. So there's lots of opportunities, lots of places a Bachelor of Science can go. And it's really your enthusiasm for what you're interested in studying, I think should be a really useful guiding point for what you choose to study, even if you don't know where you'll end up with your career. There's lots of opportunities. That's probably it for me.
Thank you so much, Nathan. It's really interesting to see what some of our graduates are up to. So I'm going to have a bit of a chat about pathways. So not everyone who comes to university will come straight out of year 12. Some people will go out and work or have families before coming to university. So there are a number of pathways that will get you into your dream course. So for example, if your dream course is a Bachelor of Science, then one of the, I guess, most common pathways is a Diploma of University Studies Science Specialisation, or DUS Science as we refer to it. Basically what this course does is bridges the gap from where you're at to where you need to be to successfully go on and complete your full bachelor degree. So basically it's a combination of 4 foundation units and 4 science units. So there's an example there, academic writing, learning at university. Then you may take applied maths foundation or introductory to scientific principles. Alongside those units, you will also start your Bachelor of Science. So you'll choose 4 first-year science units. You'll take 2 in semester 1, 2 in semester 2, alongside 2 of the foundation units in each semester. So they're designed to work alongside each other and give you the skills that you need to successfully pass those 4 science units. And then upon completion of that year and the Diploma of University Studies, you will be able to enter the Bachelor of Science with full credit for 1 year of study. So it means that you will be ready to go to fully complete your Bachelor of Science. You'll receive credit for those science units and you'll have a very solid foundation moving forward. There are other programs that you can study that may provide you with a larger foundation if you need that, such as the university preparation program. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have questions around that program. When you arrive at university, it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes a little bit stressful, and it could be that you need further assistance. We offer a range of supports while you're studying with us. Some of those are academic based and they may be run by peers who are already studying your degree. So peer assisted study sessions, or PASS, we love an acronym at the university. They are sessions that are run by our high achieving students. So if you're going to a PASS session in a particular subject, the person running that session would most likely be in the top percentage academically in that study area. We also have student advisors. They can help you plan your degree. If you want to undertake a second major, they can load it into your study plan. If you get to the end of first year and you've decided that you've chosen one major, but you might want to do another one, they can help manipulate your study plan so it all fits and it all looks nice and pretty. Student advisors can also help you when it comes to prerequisite subjects and things like that. There's lots of other support. There's 24-hour support, learning workshops, online webinars. There's also help once you get towards the end of your degree. So around how to connect you with future employers, how to prepare your resume, how to write selection criterias, information around mentors and professional associations, volunteering opportunities, and even information around, say, placements or things like that. Counselling and wellbeing. So we provide free counselling to our students from qualified and professional counsellors. That's available face-to-face or also online. We also have help with academic, mental health and personal concerns. So if you, for example, need longer writing time in an exam due to a physical injury, there are people that can help you get your learning access plan in place. So there's lots of assistance. As far as fees and the cost of your course, so degrees are priced by unit. So you don't pay for your whole degree up front, you pay as you study. And when I say pay, if you're an Australian citizen, you can defer your fees through a help loan. So degrees vary in price depending on the band that your degree sits in, so the HEX band. So the total cost can vary. So when Greg mentioned electives, if you are doing a Bachelor of Science, most of your science units will cost the same amount. But if you go over and take a health unit or a humanities and social sciences unit or a fine arts unit, that could alter the price of your degree because each unit falls under a different band. If you want to know more about it, there's some great websites and we also have information on our fees page. There are 2 fees associated with every unit you study, the tuition fee, which tends to be the larger fee, and then a student services and amenities fee. You can choose to defer both if you're an Australian citizen. And also your SAF fees, they go towards things like the student association, any clubs and societies that we have on campus. So those fees do go to things that you may actually find value add to your degree as well. So all our undergraduate degrees are Commonwealth supported for domestic students. You can, as I said, apply for a help loan. You do that once you've got your offer and accepted it, you'll be prompted when you go through the enrolment process. There is help available right from the time you apply until you start your course. And then, of course, all the other services kick in once you're officially studying. We also have financial support. So we have hundreds of scholarships available, which are awarded to all types of students. They're not always based on academic achievement. It could be community involvement, equity, diversity, sporting achievement. The council where you live sometimes will offer a scholarship to a student going to university. Applications for most scholarships close on the 31st of October, so you still have time. That's next Thursday. You can register in our scholarship portal and complete your personal profile and then apply for the scholarships that you're eligible for. If you're not sure and you think you're eligible, apply. Every year we have a number of scholarships that are not allocated just because people don't apply. It's worth putting in a bit of effort. Scholarships are basically free money to support you through university. It could be the difference between having to work 20 hours a week and maybe only having to work 10, or maybe not having to have a part-time job at all. So very important. When you register in your scholarships portal, piece of advice, use the same email and password that you use for your application portal. So the university have 3 portals: application, scholarship and accommodation. To keep things simple, use the same password and email address for all 3 and you'll never get confused. How to apply? It's really simple. You can apply online through our online application portal. You just need to provide information about your previous study or work experience. You might need to provide a personal competency statement if you haven't studied for a while, but you've been working or raising a family or volunteering. Once you receive your offer, so what you apply, your application goes to admissions, they make an assessment, and then If successful, you receive an offer. You can apply for up to 5 courses and you can accept up to 5 courses until you are ready to make the final decision. If you already know what you want, simple. You can apply for 1 course, accept 1 course and enroll in 1 course. But quite often students, potential students may have a couple of different courses that they're toying with. After you've accepted your offer, you can enroll in your units. Now, the only exception here is if you are a current Year 12 student. You won't be able to enroll in your units until the 18th of December when your final TCE results are released. There will be enrolment assistance. So there's enrolment assistance available online, face-to-face, and also through our Know Your Option events in December. Oh, there you go. Know your options. So there will be Know Your Options in all 3 campuses in Tasmania, and you'll be able to register for those sessions, pop along, bring your tax file number and your unique student identification number. If you don't have them, please apply for them as soon as you can. And you will need those to actually complete your Commonwealth Assistance forms or your HEX help forms. When you come to Know Your Options, there'll be student advisors, people from the Future Students team, student services, even some academics who can actually help you navigate the area that you want to study and what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now while we go into some questions. So let me just see where my questions have gone. So, oh, okay. So why do scholarships close before applications? That is a very good question. So applications actually opened at the end of June for next year. So it's really important that we have time to assess scholarship applications. There is still time to apply. So even if you haven't received your offer, but you have applied, you can apply for the scholarships for the courses you've applied for. But without a closing date, it simply doesn't allow enough time for scholarships to be assessed and awarded. So quite often scholarships may be provided by external providers or beneficiaries, and there's committees that decide who receives that scholarship. So logistically, it can take quite a bit of work to navigate through that process. And I think Erin is going to add a little bit more to that. So thank you, Erin. Do we have to apply for each scholarship separately? So when you go into your scholarship portal, there will be some scholarships that will fall under an umbrella. So for example, if you identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, for example, the scholarships that you are eligible to apply for as an Aboriginal student will fall under an umbrella. There are other similar types of scholarships where you may only have to do one application for several scholarships. So it's important when you go in to answer the questions about yourself as honestly and accurately as you can, so that when it comes to filtering the scholarships you're eligible for, it does include all of them. You can go through the A to Z listing. So if you hear of a scholarship you think you're eligible for or you're browsing through, feel free to apply for that. You can add it in as well. VCE unit credit transfer. So VCE units, I would assume, are part of your Year 12 program. And if you believe you're eligible for credit for those units, then you can submit a credit application after you've accepted your offer. So off the top of my head, I don't know the answer to that, but certainly you would have the opportunity to apply for credit, and we can find out that for you. If you would like to send me the specific units, then that would make it a lot easier. Unless one of the academics knows the answer to that, please feel free to jump in. No, okay, so if you can send that through, we'll follow up. Can you earn an academic scholarship on top of financial support for relocation? Yes, you can. So that's one thing I should have said. So you can hold merit and access scholarships at the same time. You can hold scholarships up to the value of around $20,000 from the University of Tasmania, and scholarships will monitor that. They won't over offer amounts, so you won't have to say, oh, should I choose with this one or that one? If they offer you a higher value, they will let you know which one, and they will normally offer you the one of highest value. Is there a best campus to study? Oh, this is a good one. Is there a best campus to study at for the Bachelor of Science or for the Geography and Environment major? Greg, would you like to answer that?
Yes, I was actually just typing something, but which I won't. I'll
Oh,
cancel.
fine.
The answer is very much these days that Hobart is the best place, including for geography and environment. Geography and environment is technically offered in Launceston, but most of your flexibility, you have a wider range of choice in what you can study. So not just in your major, but in the other parts of a degree in Hobart. Clear as a bell.
Thanks, Greg. I'm going to let Nathan answer the question around the job in Antarctica, because I can see that you're typing. And regarding overseas qualifications, we would certainly encourage you to apply, and then an assessment can be made. If you are sending qualifications from overseas, it's really important, if they're from a non-English speaking country, that they're translated and that you have sufficient unit outlines to show the method of assessment, the contact hours, and what was taught in the units that you studied. That allows us to look at what you studied and determine if it's similar to our program, so that we can ascertain if you would receive credit or not. So apply, send the detail through, and then an assessment will be made. I think that we have answered all of those questions. So I might just give it one more minute if anyone, oh, and there we go. Is it hard to start a career after 40 years old? I'd love to answer that question, but I'm not a scientist. I actually have worked in higher ed for 26 years in a huge variety of jobs, and recently, 3 years ago, made a complete step out of a role across to future students. So I would say yes, and I'm studying all the time, but I'm going to let someone else answer that. Greg or Andrew, anyone?
I'll say something to that. And the answer is, it will always depend on who you are and what you do, but there are always opportunities. We have a large number of students who come in at that kind of age and go and do fantastic degrees and fantastic postgraduate degrees and get great jobs. It just happens. And of course, you have this considerable life skills that you're bringing into it. So you might have been a long time out of school, but you're bringing life skills.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that, Greg. Exactly. In earth sciences, there'd be at least 10% of our cohort that are mature age students. And because of that life experience, they just get through the assessments much more readily, and they're much more engaged and with staff, like asking questions and career planning and things. So yeah, for us in earth science, it's very common to have a mature age student cohort.
I think it's also becoming quite common for people to change career paths in their 30s and 40s and 50s. I think society in general is a lot more open to that. And we've recently had graduates in their 80s and 90s. So it's never too late to do a degree, even if it's just for self-interest, in my opinion. So I can see that Greg is answering a question, and Andrew, but I'll just read them out. So an honours year at the university, if you did an undergraduate degree at another university, my understanding is you can definitely apply. And each school will list their areas of research online, so you can see what academics are researching. We would encourage you, if you want to come to the university after you've done your undergraduate somewhere else, to do so. And Nathan, I think I'll let you answer the geography and environmental major and climate change. I have no idea.
It might be quicker just to say it, just to than type. So I'll cancel what I'm writing. There are components. If you look at the UTAS webpage, there are menus you can drop down to look at the individual majors, and that will reveal the different units that make up the major. And so, for example, the geography, I forget the exact name. The question was around climate change components in the geography and environment major. If you have a look at those units that are there, there's one in first year called Global Geographies of Change, another called Earth, Climate and Life in second year, and then in third year, one called Our Changing Climate. So just looking at those unit titles, they've got codes that are a bit hard to understand, but looking at those titles can give you a guidance as to the types of things that you'll study in those units.
On that, Nathan, I know that the Institute for Marine and Antarctic Science have a bit of a focus in that area as well. Would you encourage someone doing a major in that area to also then look at maybe picking up some of those units?
It's certainly a great space where we've got the electives in addition to the discipline electives. So if that's something you're looking to focus on more, then there's absolutely electives that can fill that knowledge
Right.
space.
And that's where coming along to know your options and meeting with student advisors can help open that up, as well as searching our website, which is quite user-friendly. Greg, I notice you're typing. Would you prefer to type or answer the question regarding the plant science major?
Oh, I can answer.
The last one, so.
Really strong face-to-face practical and field components in plant science, as in other majors. So all of the units that we would teach in that major would have the main component is actually the prac components, and that can involve theoretical, using pracs to investigate theoretical things, but also using practical components to investigate applied problems and hands-on problems. Fieldwork is also quite extensive, and we also have units which aren't necessarily the major, such as Tasmanian field ecology, which has a very strong field-based prac experience. So it's 8 days of, the whole unit is 8 days of field work. And Mena can talk to that too as well for zoology. So they go hand in hand. I hope that helps. Definitely, that's what we want. We want face-to-face and hands-on.
One of the things that we probably haven't mentioned is the ability for students to incorporate overseas experiences into their degree. Things such as UniGo, where they're fully funded overseas experiences that count towards your electives, or even going on exchange for 6 months to another university to broaden the depth and breadth of your degree. So there are so many different options, particularly with the Bachelor of Science, for you to create a degree that is very unique to you. And we will be sending out a recording to all of you. And if you do have any questions, you can reply to that email, or you can contact our student services area as well. So the website will easily lead you to further information. But if you do have specific questions, please feel free to reply to the email and reach out to us. Yes, Mena, sorry.
Yeah, I think what we haven't mentioned too is that throughout your undergraduate degree, we have the Dean's Summer Research Scholarships, in which you can get paid to immerse yourself within a research group of an academic and PhD students and work alongside them for 6 weeks over the summer to get some experience and understanding of what's involved in research.
That's an amazing opportunity. Science communication. I have had students in the past do some science and then also combine a major from, say, media and communication. I'm not sure if that's where they're going with that, but did anyone want to add to that?
All I would add to that is, even though we don't have a specific science communication major, quite a number of our students, especially our research students, end up in science communication. We've actually got quite a long list in biological sciences. I had a look at a notice board, and I personally would have 4 ex-students who are working somewhere in that field.
So is that when you look at the Bachelor of Science and those electives that you have, that would be where you would add those communication style units in there to give your degree that flexibility and breadth?
Absolutely. So that's what the flexibility is about. So definitely focus on your core studies, but pick up the additional things that give you that evaluating on the extra skills that will help you where you want to get to be.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I think we've gone over time, so I might cut us off there. But as I said, you will receive a recording of this webinar. And if you do have follow-up questions, we encourage you to respond. Seek us out. We're happy to help. And I've hoped that you have got quite a lot of information out of tonight. It sounds very exciting, and I think the Bachelor of Science, just my personal opinion, is that it does provide you with a lot of opportunity to create a really unique degree that you can then go out and add to your toolkit and sell to future employers, because it really does allow you to think outside the box rather than do a degree that's all core units where you don't have any choice. So as I said, thank you very much. Thank you to our academics tonight, and to Erin, who has also assisted. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.